I am so proud of this. Stop going through that man phone. Relax on the scrolling. Drawn by me. No AI assistance. No AI generation. No AI nothing. And with it being fresh into the new year, it's a great time to start a new hobby. Okay? Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. My title is a little misleading, but it's all good news. I am here to announce some very big news, so stay tuned. So don't give away my love. So don't give away my love. So don't give away another woman that can take your spot, my love. So it is now January, I think it's the 21st. So officially it has been 1 month since I released my very first of many adult coloring books. This is actually a sample copy. I have like 3 samples because we've been testing out different types of paper and how I want the cover to look and the back cover. I am so proud of this. Oh my god, y'all don't understand. But anyway, it was released on December 30th. It is called Color Me Chic. This is the first in a coloring book series that I'm going to be releasing. The series is called Color Me, right? And then each release is going to be Color Me something different, like Color Me blank. Okay, but before I get into details about the coloring book, I wanted to briefly discuss, well, hopefully briefly, because y'all know me, I get a little winded, but just how I got here, how I decided that this is what I want to do. But if you don't want to hear all that, I'll put a timestamp where the details start about the coloring book. So I have always been like a super creative, artsy, artistic person, but it was always pen and paper, markers on paper, until I got an iPad. When did I get my iPad? I think I got it around when the pandemic started, maybe. And around that same time is when I started to see a lot of stuff about adult coloring and the benefits of it, how it's like super therapeutic. It's a form of therapy, a form of meditation type thing. So I actually went and bought 2 of my own adult coloring books out of Barnes & Noble and got some markers. I would be coloring, but back then it wasn't like a consistent thing for me. Like I would just get super bored one day and do 1 or 2 pages and then put it back and wouldn't pick them up again for like months. It was a super sporadic thing for me at first, but I say all that to say I'm not new to this adult coloring thing. Like I've been doing it for years. It's new to me getting into the designing of the coloring books, but I'm not new to the actual concept of it. So how I decided that I wanted to do it was because, as y'all know, well, most of y'all should know by now, that I'm a new mommy, and I know that I'm gonna have significant time off work upcoming. I'm due in April. I'll probably go on maternity leave sometime before my due date, I'm assuming. But I also work at a high school, so not only do I have standard maternity leave, but I also get summer break. I'm gonna have some of April off, all of May, all of June, all of July, and some of August. So I'm gonna have collectively about 4.5 months off work, and I'm on contract with them, so I do not get paid for my maternity leave, unfortunately. So I'm thinking like, what is some ways I can bring in some income still, but I still want to be doing something I enjoy doing. Like that's big for me, to actually enjoy my job. So earlier in December, before releasing the coloring book, I actually revamped my graphic design little business thing I do. Originally that's for like me, I design logos, flyers, posters, social media posts, you know, stuff like that, which I'm able to do it. I have the capability to do it, but do I enjoy doing that? Yeah, it's just iffy for me. But I had stepped away from it before revamping because I was in grad school, and grad school takes up literally every bit of my time. I actually start back today, another semester, and I'm not looking forward to it at all because it just takes up all my time. So give me a minute, this is all gonna make sense in just a minute. My last research project for grad school was, it had to be English related, of course, or literature related. So as a new mommy, I chose to do it about children's literature, right? And the lack of representation of colored children in children's literature. Upon research, that paper ended up being about 25 pages. So y'all, I ended up in a wormhole about representation in children's literature. I won't get into all that too much, but what you need to know is there is a huge lack of female and Black representation in books that are catered to children. There have been improvements, of course, over time, but there's still overall a lack of representation for children of color and young girls in children's books, right? It was a super eye-opening research project for me, and it actually led me to make huge life decisions for myself and my unborn child. I was thinking, like, instead of doing logos and stuff like that, I can use my talents to be a children's book illustrator and specialize in or work with authors that cater to Black stories, right? So that was my initial thought, and I was super excited about that. So I always do a bunch of research before I do anything or make any kind of decision. So I started doing research on how to, you know, get your foot in the door in that industry, and everyone kept saying you have to do your own children's book first. That way you'll know like what work goes into making a children's book, how much to charge, and you could just have one under your belt and say that you illustrated a book and put it on your portfolio or whatever. It makes sense. So I was like, well, I just wanted to illustrate. I didn't necessarily want to write one, but I was like, you know what? It's children's literature. It doesn't have to be anything complex like a 50 chapter book. So I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I worked super hard on writing and illustrating my own children's book. It is ready, but trying to actually produce it and distribute it is giving me problems because I made my book basically too big for the platform that Amazon has to self-publish books. It's too large for their printing abilities. So I have to find another way to do it, but it's definitely coming soon. But I stepped away from it because it was giving me hell. I'm going to put it on the back burner for right now, but it is definitely on the way though. It's an ABC book for young brown boys, and it's an affirmation ABC book. So for every letter in the alphabet, there's an affirmation for them. You can read aloud to them. When they get of age, they can read it themselves. Super cute. And again, I wrote and illustrated every single page in there. I will pop up some pages that are included in that to show y'all what I've been up to with that. But the conclusion with that part is drawing the actual book was one of the most satisfying, fun, therapeutic, relaxing, enjoyable experiences that I've ever had. My experience with that led me to the decision that I want to be an illustrator. Like, I want to do this as a job. I don't want to sound dramatic, but it's like the research project and writing the children's book basically both led me to finding my purpose in life. So that's what I want to do. If I can make this a living, of course I'm going to do it. So because of the difficulty that I'm having with printing my children's book, I was thinking, what can I illustrate now that won't give me problems that I can also start making money from while I work behind the scenes to do my children's book? And that led me to doing more research, and it led me to adult coloring books. Yes, I can draw the pages that people will color in an adult coloring book. And I found that there's still even a lack of representation in the coloring book industry, specifically for colored people. So without hesitation, I started sketching and drawing pages for a coloring book dedicated to Black women, Black fashion, Black creativity, and I finished it in about a month, and I had plans to upload it on Amazon and make it available on Amazon, but again, Amazon was giving me hell even with this book. So my mother, who owns her own Etsy shop, I don't even know if it's open right now, but I know she was doing it and has been doing it for years. She was like, why don't you just do it on there? They won't take as much as Amazon would take. You'll make all your money. It's your little store, and there's no middleman, basically. So I was like, okay. That is how we got here, finally. Hopefully that story wasn't overly long, but all that led to this. I published my first adult coloring book on my own Etsy store. Again, Color Me Chic, Volume 1, the coloring book. So like I said, the Color Me series is going to be a coloring book series of adult coloring books. They're all going to be dedicated to Black people. So Black women, Black men, Black children. Everybody's all going to be in fly outfits. That's very fitting for me and what I do on this channel, right? The reason I'm doing this series, it is an attempt to fill the gap in representation in coloring books. My next one is set to release in February. I have it all sketched out, drawn up, finished. Y'all are hearing this first, I might add. It'll release a couple weeks before Valentine's Day. It is also inspired by Valentine's Day, but it is going to be all Black couples, and they're going to be all in fly outfits in love. It's celebrating Black fashion yet again, Black creativity yet again, but also Black love. It's going to be Color Me Loved, but let me show you some pages in the Color Me Chic coloring book. I've actually colored in all of my girls digitally. These are all hand drawn, okay, drawn by me. No AI assistance, no AI generation, no AI nothing, okay? This is all me. I worked very, very hard on this. Super, super cute, y'all. This is, like I said, just a sample copy. I wanted to have physical copies of Color Me Chic available, but I think I took too long to do that, so I'm gonna have physical versions of the next one available. These will just be available digitally for now. So like I said, they're available digitally, right? Each individual page is $1.50. Or you can get a bundle, which is the whole book digitally, and that'll be $9.99. So the digital coloring pages, you'll get access to them immediately after you purchase them. Download them and you import them into your favorite coloring app. So mine is Procreate. I'll pop some more up on the screen. Or you can also buy them and print them out and color them that way. So the next coloring book will be available physically though. Be a little more money because we'll be binding the books ourselves. Like, we're actually making the book ourselves. No one's gonna be doing it, printing for us and all that. So for the time and supplies and all that, it'll cost a little more. It'll be $15 for the physical book. Not all my future coloring books will be under the Color Me series, okay? But I'm also gonna do coloring books that are not of people. And that is just to expand my audience, you know, so I can have something for everyone basically. So some benefits of adult coloring, y'all. If you're wondering like, why is this a thing? Why would I invest in this? Why would I, you know, want to buy a coloring book at 28 years old? It's because, y'all, it is seriously one of the best forms of therapy, cheapest forms of therapy. It's a form of meditation. It's a anxiety reducer, a stress reducer. We tend to be really addicted to our devices and our screens. It is a great way to unplug from all of that. It is a mobile hobby. You could take this anywhere. You go on vacation, bring your little coloring book and color in your favorite homegirls on a plane ride if you ain't doing nothing in the room. It's a great pastime. Literally, I will sit down and color a couple pages, look up, and 3 hours went by. You can replace all the time you spend scrolling for absolutely no reason and do something to release some stress. Not to mention, it's just fun. It's a way to showcase your creativity. You do not have to be an expert to get into adult coloring. Anybody can do it. Anybody can start it right now today. It's inexpensive. Like I said, the most you'll ever spend on this if you buy it physically is $15. Buy your own little markers or crayons, color pencils, whatever art supply you would like. You can get those from Dollar Tree, Walmart, cheap. You don't have to get nothing super expensive, and just start now. And with it being fresh into the new year, it's a great time to start a new hobby, okay? So stop going through that man phone, relax on the scrolling, detach for a while, and buy a coloring book or coloring pages today. My Etsy store will be linked in my bio in this video and every video from here on out. So you will always be able to find the store linked in my videos. Thank y'all in advance for your support. If you do buy a coloring book or a couple coloring pages, I appreciate everyone who has done that so far. Stay tuned for my future books. Comment if you want, like if you liked it. Definitely subscribe though and go buy a coloring book today. And I'll see y'all in the next one.
Right outside, TT, two-turn, baby girl, you know me. Who am I? All the niggas